Hello and welcome back to my LEGO Castle Kingdom, which now includes a working jousting tournament, complete with moving horses. A lot of you suggested that I should build a jousting field, and I thought rather than just having a simple, static model, why not introduce some movement and make it look like each of the knights on a horseback are actually riding around the field, ready to strike each other with their giant lances. And this is a really awesome effect. It adds so much action and excitement to this area of the layout, and it also looks really fantastic with the vibrant colours of the tournament tents behind it. My aim for this was to create a reliable mechanism similar to the working water wheel that's part of my blacksmith's building that I could have running continuously in the backdrop, so I didn't want to overcomplicate this and have things like the knights flying off their horses, because while that would be possible, it would mean having to reset the knights every time. So instead I just went for a very simple but effective mechanism that makes it look like the knights are riding their horses around the track. And the way I achieve this is by using a simple conveyor belt pulley system, a bit like a slot car system, and that entire chain is powered by a power functions motor, and this motor is connected to a simple reduction gearbox to make the whole thing a little bit slower. And you can see how basically that conveyor belt pulls the horses around on these sticks attached to each of the chain links, which are spaced an equal distance apart. And this is what creates the effect that the horses are actually riding around the jousting field by simply having them being pulled around on the conveyor belt. And if we head back up to the top level, you can see how I've basically cut out a slot that goes all the way around the road or the path that the horses travel. You'll see underneath the feet of each of the horses, there's some small Technic pins, and that's basically what follows this guide track and makes the horses turn around when they reach the corners. So that's a really smooth and reliable mechanism, and something like this integrates really well into the rest of the layout because this is all raised up on some custom designed mini tables which allow this whole system to be neatly concealed underground. So it's nothing too complex, but it does the job, and the main thing is it adds so much life to this front section of my LEGO Castle Kingdom, especially when you compare it with a shot of the overall thing, or at least how it is at the moment, since this is still a work in progress. And I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. Now that we've seen how it works, I want to point out some of the other details which I've included around the tournament. So as you can see, the basic layout is divided into 3 sections, with 2 tents on either side, with this giant royal tournament pavilion in the middle. And I've designed each of these 3 structures to feature a very realistic tent shape, and that way the knights have a bit of privacy to get changed into their armour ready for the jousting. I'm really happy with the construction of these tents. You can see how I've built up all 4 sides of the tent out of individual panels which are clipped together on top of these modified 1x1 bricks with the studs on all the sides, similar to how you would build a Lego sphere in this scale. But this also works well for a very realistic fabric tent structure, and that looks really neat there on each corner, complete with the matching flags on the top. I've also included a matching guard outside each of the tents in their respective team's colours, as well as some details around the back, such as this guy behind the red tent who looks like he's been drinking a bit too much, as well as a falcon handler around the back of the blue tent. He's holding his pet falcon with one of those protective chainmail gloves over on his right hand. There's a little cage where the falcon can be kept before the falcon show. And then there's also a couple of children who are looking on in wonder at this highly trained bird. And my idea for this is, since this is a jousting tournament, there'd also be some other activities and festivities, such as a falcon display. You often get those at real-life medieval reenactments, and I thought that was a good little thing to include around the back of that tent. And there's also some drinks and food, as well as the prize for the winner of the jousting tournament. And then this little area outside here is an archery range. Again, this is another activity that is present over here, and that just includes this small target design which is actually built into the landscape. So if I take that off, you can see that's built using a tap piece, as well as these two angled pieces. And that just clips in the back of a headlight brick to create this really cool angled stand for the archery stand. And then practicing his aim against the target is this knight who's clearly concentrating a lot, so we better put him back and leave him to it. And then as for the Spectators Grandstand, I've tried to make this look like it's a very expensive and semi-permanent structure that is built specifically for the lords and ladies, basically all of the nobility who come to watch their knights compete in this tournament. And you can see a selection of the nobles celebrating and excited by all of the action that's going on right in front of their eyes. That's a very good view if you're a minifigure. And you might be wondering why I haven't included the king and queen, and that's just because I want to save them for the actual castle itself. And there's also some shields representing each of the teams, as well as some different colour flags on the top, just for an extra bit of variety. And I've continued this tent-like structure all the way around the back of this pavilion, which includes a pair of openings in the back, a bit like curtains, as well as some crates full of supplies, food, and barrels of wine. All very important components of any good medieval tournament. I hope you enjoyed this look at my working LEGO jousting tournament, and if you did, then don't forget to give this video a like and let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. Next time in my LEGO Castle Kingdom, I'm planning on making a start on the castle itself, or at least building up a decent part of the mountain where the castle will sit on. I just had this inspiration to work on a few of the other parts of my layout, and of course I'll be filling up all of the other areas which still need to be completed over the course of this series. But I think this working jousting tournament is a great addition and adds some much needed colour to the front of this entire display, and I'm really happy with how the moving horses have turned out as well. And if you'd like to be notified when the next episode of my LEGO Castle Kingdom is available, as well as all my other LEGO videos, then be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date. A big thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon for helping to make my videos possible. And if you'd like to see your name here in the credits, as well as get access to exclusive bonus videos and how to build tutorials, then you too can join me on Patreon. There'll be a link in the description below, and I'd really appreciate your support. I'll see you guys next time with more LEGO creations, and thanks for watching.